Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
All right. What's up, y'all? This is another episode of the Medianoche podcast. Art Morera. You know what I'm saying? I'm here in the Mimo district, as always, on that 11 to 7, if you already know. And right now I have these two homies that was recommended to me for a podcast episode by a good friend of mine, Mowgli. I got Dirty Dough and the Filth. What's up, y'all?
What's up with y'all?
What's up with y'all?
Man, I'm good, bro. What's going on with y'all, man?
Good. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Money Mo, the P Mowgli, for putting this on to Art Morera. That's what's up, man.
The wolf, the lone wolf.
You already know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What part of town y'all stay in?
Southwest representing.
La Sawacera.
La Southwest say that all day.
Yeah, man. You know, I've bounced around Miami like my whole life, bro. I've spent some time in Kendall, in Hialeah, in the South Miami, Little Haiti. And it's funny, man, because Miami being like such a melting pot, like I feel like once you get into the Southwest, you know, like me personally, I feel like the roads are smoother, you know, there's more seasoning on the food, you know, like from like the Caribbean, Cuban, you know, even like South American. Over here in Little Haiti, even though it's still like a Caribbean lifestyle, like the whole vibe is equally good, but just different. You know what I mean? And have you guys ever lived in any other part of town aside from South Miami, from the Southwest?
Man, growing up, man, all over Miami. You know what I'm saying? And from Hialeah to Homestead, yo, I'm well acquainted with the whole area of Dade County and shit.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like I feel like part of Miami, like part of living in Miami is you got to kind of get to know the whole city. You can't just stay in a little bubble, which is your little chunk. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like in retrospect, after bouncing around a lot and doing some traveling, like when they say there's nothing like Miami, I can be even much more specific. Like there's nothing like the little district that people live in. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I like the Southwest. Shout out to the Sawacera, bro. You know, what y'all been up to, man? What's something that y'all working on right now?
Chilling, man. Just, you know, getting this music out. Bunch of dope hip hop. You know what I'm saying? This EP called The Shaman of Debauchery.
Shaman's Debauchery.
There's going to be some ill shit. You know, we taking it back to B-boying, B-girls, graffiti writers, MCs, and DJs.
All day.
You know what I'm saying? Because this hip-hop shit is very important to myself and to those around me. You know what I mean? So it's like something that has to be blessed upon the people. So the Shamans of Debauchery EP is going to do some ill shit with that. You know what I'm saying?
Break that down, man. Like the what is it? The Shaman of Debauchery?
Shamans of Debauchery.
Yo,
Shamans
that basically
of
came
Debauchery,
about because,
word.
they on some MC shit, people know me as Angel Lust. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Angel and Lust combined. But a couple of years back, I just remember creating a rhyme, and that's the first thing I say. I say, Shamans of Debauchery, Angela's Night's Watch, heavy is the cross. And then I just like how it came out. You know, I was like, what? I like that, Shamans of Debauchery. So I started off just saying Shaman of Debauchery as for myself, single, you know what I mean? But then I started working with Dirty Dough and my other good friend that's not here right now. Shout out to Nicaraguan MC.
What up,
now
Few?
El Salvador and Chile. So it's like a good little mixture of cultures and
Latino
all
America.
combined for this hip hop shit, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, what if I just make it plural for this project? So that's how it came to be. That's why it's Shamans of Debauchery.
You know, when I was a kid, man, I would play this computer game, Diablo. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all familiar with it. It's like this old PC game. And I remember, man, like there was a few parts in that game that was like really heavy with specifically shamans, you know, like witch doctors and like people that was really into the calling the spirits, you know, and raising, like tapping into the whole like spirit realm and all that. And, you know, it's funny because we live today where it's like Everyone got an iPhone. Everyone is on Wi-Fi and like real like into the electronic side of things. And you know, people try to adapt to that chunk of the human story. You feel me? Where it's like everything is a super like tech savvy and all that. But really, we've only been out of the woods for a couple 100 years. You know what I'm saying? If you really, really, really want to think about it, we've only been outside of the woods for not too long. You know, and I think it's funny how, you know, even like with Hurricane Dorian, when it was coming to the South, you know, like the east side of South Florida, and it curved up, and then that meme became popular of like a Haitian lady with a cigar, and it was like, "You're welcome." You know what I'm saying? Like people tend to forget or overlook that, you know, the whole tribal side of our story, the human story, it really isn't that far off, man, you know? Especially here in Miami with Santeria and with, you know,
voodoo, black voodoo, and
yeah,
all that.
voodoo and
black
all that.
magic and shit.
Man, I still be riding up and down Miami and I'll see like the garbage bag with the chicken in it. You know,
The goats and all that shit.
For
and
real,
the
man.
chickens cut off and shit.
I remember this one time I was walking my dog over here by Biscayne Boulevard, and you smell like dead. And I'm like, bro, something's dead around here, you know? But you know how you look up in the sky, you look for those birds that fly in a circle, the little vultures or whatever. And I look over and I see that there was a fucking goat in a big ass black garbage bag, like floating, kind of like bouncing off against the wall. And I'm like, damn, dog, Miami's crazy, bro.
Sacrifice.
On the train tracks, so the curse spreads around the country. They do it on the train tracks, so their curse spreads around the country.
That's interesting, man. Like I'd rather just use the internet so my stuff can spread that way. You know? But yeah, that's wild, man. Like, and I mean, why do you feel like you gravitate more towards like debauchery specifically?
Basically,
Bitches, the mutts.
yo, it's like, cause like I'm saying, like there's different parts to us. You know what I'm saying? There's good and there's bad. You know what I mean? Yes. And within us, you know what I'm saying? We're always either in control of it or it controls us. You know what I'm saying? So me as that part of me called the Angelus is kind of like a little bit more of a serious side to me, you know what I'm saying? A little bit more serious side. But then I have that part of me inside that just likes to wild out and not care, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I labeled him the shaman of debauchery, that part of me inside me that I know could come out. I've seen him come out and he doesn't care and he just, you know what I'm saying? He's just
Cage dragon.
running amok, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like being the part of the human experience is like coming to terms with like our duality. You know what I mean? Like we try to make the best of ourselves, and like we try to strive to be better and better every day. But it's almost undermining the fact that there's a whole side of us that's gonna be tending more towards like the dark side. You know what I mean? Like I have a homegirl of mine that she's like obsessed. You know how you have these girls that it's like trendy to be like witches or whatever. You know?
Goth and shit.
Goth, but more like specifically witches, you know, la brujeria, like brujas, you know, and you know, I asked her like just to pick her brain, like why do you adopt that, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, oh, you know, listen, like everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die, you know, like we have to appreciate the concept of death if you truly want to appreciate just life and all that, you know. And I can understand that logic, you know, and part of wilding out is like the risk of death, you know, the risk of, right? Like the risk of pain and suffering and all this just to kind of like get some adrenaline pumped and make the story of our lives exciting. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand the logic behind Angelust, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's like, and that actually came to me like by like a female, because my middle name is Angel. So she was kind of like, yo, you ain't no angel. You're like a little lustful angel. And I was like, damn, what if I combine them both? You know what I'm saying? And that's how it came to be, you know?
Word. Yeah, man. Oh, make sure you talk with the yeah, for sure. 'Cause it was like down here.
Oh, word.
Yeah, my bad, bro. I'm kind of like gorilla with it, bro.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. I'm here in like a hotel room that's technically out of order, but it's the only place I can get some quiet, some like peace and quiet for an hour here, man. You know. So I appreciate y'all thugging it out with me.
I appreciate you
I
having us.
appreciate you for having us here, man.
For real, man.
How long have you been making music for?
probably since like seriously like making my own stuff probably like 01, 02. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I've been in this hip hop shit like 97, 98. Yo, yeah, like my first rhyme was like in 97, 98.
Like, let me ask y'all, man. So I'm assuming that y'all have a couple years on me, right? Like what do y'all feel about pursuing music but not being in the early 20s anymore, you know? Or late 20s? Like, what are y'all thoughts on that?
Man, straight up, man. When I was in the early 20s, I was some other shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Straight up other shit. And now I'm just playing catch up with this music shit. Because, you know, I always been involved in the other side of things, you know what I'm saying? And now I started really late with this music shit. And, man, now all the experience, all the mistakes you've made in the past, like now it's time to execute, you know what I'm saying? And all these visions that we having, we knocking this shit out the box, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna take it there, dog.
Do you, you know, I feel like the pursuit of being an MC, you know, especially in Miami, this is, mind you, if you, like people that have been listening to my podcast, they know like I make music. And the majority of people that come on my podcast also make music, respectfully. And, you know, I kind of feel like so in the late 90s and early 2000s, the internet was brand new. And labels was still like the main thing, trying to get signed, blah, blah, blah. And then when the internet exploded, social media didn't exist yet, you know? So people were still kind of grinding it out, like printing out flyers and CDs and doing the grassroots groundwork in South Florida. And then people had a hard time adapting to the whole internet age. You know what I'm saying? Like no one was even thinking about the idea of a YouTube, much less
Till Soulja Boy came through and blew up and shit off the internet and shit.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of that here in South Florida because back then to even get a music video was like, what? You know, like, damn, who are you working with? You know, whatever. And now, because of the internet age, I feel like the generation after people in our age range it like skipped over us almost. You know what I mean? Like you either had the Pitbulls and them that came up during the major label era, and then you had the rest of us that was trying to figure it out, and then you have people after us that grew up with social media, and they just have no problem at all like acting a fool on a young Instagram or YouTube or like wilding out on Twitter or whatever, and they flourished with that, you know? So coming from that like middle ground between how it was before and how it is now, like how do you find yourselves, you know what I'm saying, like adapting?
I find it very interesting, as a matter of fact. Like I find it like as another goal to conquer, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and in the same time has been very beneficial in that I've had to teach myself and acquire new skills as in understanding the information that I am learning of this music business shit, you know what I'm saying? The music side of it, the business side of it, because it's two completely different things, the artistic side and then the business side. So I've kind of had to be forced to learn a bunch of shit that I never thought I was going to learn and acquire many other interests along the way, such as video, photography, interacting with other artists, collaborations, networking, you know what I'm saying? It's just taking me anywhere. It's like it's helped me grow even more in this process, you know, and it gives you another bit of hunger. Like I've never stopped, you know what I'm saying? I've out of a lot of people I know, yo, from 97, 98 to now, I'm one of the few that stayed doing it nonstop.
With it, dedicated.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it just keeps me. I never lose that hunger. Like I love this hip hop shit, bro.
That passion for hip hop.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I think of the things I've had to do to go rock mics at places. You know what I'm saying? And that has allowed me to do the same in gathering the info and executing what I gotta do to make it in this, because it's possible. There's many outlets now that people could create income off of this. than before. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny you say that because a homie of mine and we was talking before y'all came through. I just got off the phone with him not too long ago. How like, you know, there are certain new avenues that people can jump on to raise awareness of what they do and make money off of it. Like for example, Twitch. You know, are y'all familiar with Twitch?
I heard about it. Yeah.
Twitch is like a live streaming platform.
Yeah.
But most people that play video games is on that.
Nah, I got it.
But you don't have to be a gamer to be on that. You could live stream whatever you do, a recording session, rehearsal, beat making.
Anything.
People point the camera down at the table with the light on and they're like drawing. And then you'll see like a live chat of people like being like, oh, I like the way he drew the nose. And then they'll donate $5, $10. And you're sitting there doing what you want to do, providing this like almost like ASMR content. You know what ASMR is? Nah. That's the girls that like they talk really low on the mic and they like open a bag of chips. And like all the sound of these things happening is like pleasing to the viewer or the listener. So they use Twitch as an example, as a platform to like be like, yeah, you watch me make beats, but I rap though, and download my tape and follow me on this and that. And they're using Twitch for that, you know? Like how you said you had to pick up on learning how to work a camera.
Oh, word. Like,
you know?
yeah, learning how to do multiple things. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn many different things if you got to execute certain things the way you want and at that time, because sometimes depending on people, you can't. So this forces you to
do it yourself
and just get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
get
you know
it.
what I'm saying?
Get it.
Like, what are some things that y'all is there anything right now that you're kind of learning how to do at the moment? Aside from, obviously, we all make music, but like you decided to learn how to work a camera, you know?
Also, like, for example, I'm in the process of right now of opening up an online beat store so I could lease out instrumentals that I make exclusive, so like, you know, sell shit exclusively. You know what I mean? So right there, I'm having to, I've never done that before, learn how to use a domain, find ways to build a website, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's very like valuable to learn these things, you know?
You know, it's interesting because to the public, the main thing that we want to be known for is that we make music. You know, that's like the face of your likeness. But they don't know that in the background, there's all these other things that we had to learn and educate ourselves how to do. And like, for example, when Jay-Z became a billionaire, it showed a pie chart of everything that he did to reach the billion, you know? And it's like 12 different things. And most people, they only buy the album. You know what I'm saying? They might be like, oh, yeah, you know, he works with Tidal or whatever.
Yeah, but they don't see the hard work, man. They only see the results.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like, oh, you don't know that, for example, you might have your own shirt printer, you know? You might offer shirt printing for other companies, and that's the way that you could, with the profit from it, you can buy your own blank tees and print out your own shit, you know? And it's just funny, man. I remember how once upon a time I was just the rapper. I was just a rapper. I would walk into a studio and the engineer would be sitting there with Pro Tools open. I didn't understand what any knob did. I only knew that the space bar stopped and started, you know, so I can loop the beat. And now it's like when I look back, everything else that I've learned along the way, you know, it's interesting like what one is capable of when you realize that you have to do more. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure, man.
Yeah, like, I mean, how many, have you guys, when's the last time that you guys dropped some music?
Yo, we always working, man. We come from the lab. Yo, I got mad videos on deck. You know what I'm saying? I needed a cameraman, and my homeboy right here, he helped me with everything. We started from not knowing nothing, and now we like, you know, we know a little something, dog. And we know a little something to offer our services to other people and make their visions come to life, you know what I'm saying?
Like, aside from just making music, what's something that you actually find enjoyment in doing, not only for yourselves but for other people?
Oh man, I like putting dope people around other dope people. It's like I feel like I'm very good at that too. And in doing this, like as in meeting people, networking, whatever you want to call it, I've been able to just feel people out and be like, yo, if I put this person
Connect
to
the
meet
dots.
this person, something ill is gonna happen, you know. And I like doing that. I generally like doing that, you know what I'm saying? And I've been fortunate enough to intern at a recording studio. Shout out to Asylum Studios. Shout out, you know what I mean? And
Artificial Memory.
Artificial Memory as well. Shout out to Tony. And you know what I'm saying? Like, meet many people at these establishments and being able to, just by even just conversation, been able to learn something or just be pointed to the right direction or make another contact. And many things have just been growing from that, you know what I mean? And it doesn't seem to stop, and, you know, just enjoying the flow of it.
It's God's plan.
Would you say that what side of the spectrum do you lean on? Are you more introverted or extroverted? You know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to know. For me, I need to know the definitions. I've heard those words and shit, but to be clear,
got you.
You
No
know
problem.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Introverted is people that don't like to talk too much with other people. There's a lot going on in their head, but they're not really too outward with what's going on in their heads. Like, you could be in a room full of people, you'll be like the one playing the wall, like just kind of posted up. And there are other people that are more social butterflies, and they're extroverted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, which one of the two would you say that you lean more towards today?
Well, I could be both, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But at the same time, like, if I'm in a room and I gotta be social, especially, you know, for business or whatever, like, I'm talking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, honestly, like me growing up, I was very introverted, but I could get and do what I gotta do. You know, I know how to let myself out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
When necessary.
exactly.
Yeah, like there are some heads that they feel the need to occupy the space in the room with their voice. And there are some folks they're good people, but sometimes it's okay to just kind of
Let it cut.
Yeah, you know, where like I used to be much more shy than I am now when I was younger, because you know where I think that comes from. I feel like when we're kids, we're kids and we want to show the world that we're here, and then somebody kind of shoots you down a little bit, and then you kind of feel like, damn, I don't like the way that feels. Let me be a little bit more timid around people, and then that feels good because that's safer. You know, you're timid all the time, and before you know it, that kind of develops into being like antisocial, you know? And then you just kind of, mind you, there's a lot going on in your head, but people that are more like reluctant to start conversations with people end up not really being much of a risk taker. And to make it as an artist, you can't be
Timid.
You can't, man. You have to. I remember, man, I'll be like in some studio sessions, and someone well known would walk in, and they'll make it a point to shake everyone's hand. You know, it's almost like an icebreaker. What's up, man? I'm Pitbull. Hi, I'm Pitbull. What's up? Hola, me llamo Pitbull. You know, one by one, and that kind of breaks the ice. And man, I learned a lot. It's almost like seeing the way people move force you
Especially
to
successful people who are trying to mimic that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, have you ever noticed how people that haven't really reached success, they almost always got something to say about successful people, as if the way he's moving is corny. But it's like this person, you don't know what stepping stones they took to arrive at that point where what they're doing is corny to you, but it's working for them. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Even like before the internet, there was like some artists that when you meet them, they're assholes, but you didn't know that up until you met them, because there's not that much content on them to reveal what their personality is like. You know, I feel like prior to social media, it was a lot easier for people that are introverted but make good ass music to kind of remain safe in that little
And
bubble.
be mysterious and shit, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. You know, yeah, I can kind of tell, man, that like, especially people from down here, they're much more low key, but whenever they need to, they'll step up and be like, all right, so this is what blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's something that Hispanic culture in Miami tends to breed. I wonder where that comes from. You know, there has to be some type of, like in New York,
It could
everyone
be
is,
a thing of survival and shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? And adapting, and, you know, it's just the basic human instincts and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not going to be social, you might just perish and shit, but you need to make connections and shit with people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, but at the same time, you know, mind you, in the traveling that I've done, I've seen how there are other parts of America where people are much more like transparent. Like, for example, you'll go into like the hood somewhere and everyone's out on the street barbecuing, high-fiving, people playing loud-ass music out of their cars and shit, and everyone's just completely
And knows
outward.
everything about each other and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you drive through like Little Havana and one person crosses the street, you're like, who the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And you look and there's nothing else anywhere. And people are much more literally behind closed doors.
They know of you, but they don't know about you and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
not, or they know just enough, not too much and shit.
Do you guys know your neighbors?
Yeah, I know my
Yeah,
neighbors
I know.
very
Absolutely.
well and shit. Yeah.
I peep game on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, word. I mean, I've moved a lot, and I feel like I never really got to know my neighbors too much. They just were never outside, you know? You know how in the movies you move into a neighborhood and then you get a knock at the door and it's your neighbor with like apple pie for you?
Like that, yeah.
No, but I feel you. I've lived in other spots
know?
that like, yo, you don't even know no one around. Like, no one talks to each other.
It's weird.
You see, like, you just look at each other and then you just walk in and it's like,
Everybody's cordial and shit. Cordial and, you know, say what's up and shit. But, you know, you don't know too much, too, what's going on behind the scenes and shit.
Yeah, like in the Bible it says to love thy neighbor, but like I just don't know where they're at. You know? So it's like, all right, well, hey, whenever I see you,
What's up? What's up?
yeah, what's popping, you know? Yeah, man. Have you guys ever done any like out of town shows? Anything outside of like South Florida?
I've actually been like when I've gone to El Salvador, I've been able to do my little thing out there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Espacio 132. Y'all holding it down out there.
Centro America.
You know what I'm saying?
What was that like?
That's just ill. You know what I'm saying? Like they understand English very well here and they support hip hop. It's like everywhere I see like
It's more pure over there, what I was seeing and
all these
shit,
other
dog.
spots, yo. Everywhere I
Yo,
see,
for
you know what I'm
real.
saying? Just this weekend there's gonna be they're having Battle of the Year Central America this weekend going down.
When you say Battle of the Year, like what type of
Battle of the Year is a huge b-boy event that's usually takes place in Germany. So I guess they're doing selecting people from that part of the world in Central America. So I know that's going down this weekend actually.
I'm trying to think like Germany, Europe loves hip hop and hip hop is an American culture, but they love it. It's like there's an allure behind hip hop more worldwide than even in here. Like it's so normal in America that it's not even exciting to discover it anymore. Like people, especially now kids nowadays, they were born into it.
Yeah, it's so oversaturated, dog. There's so much whack shit out there and
I wonder like what it is about other countries that we like find alluring the way that they find hip hop here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about food or whatever, like pizza or like Mexican food, but I'm trying to think like, you know, maybe like Japanese culture. Like we fuck with Japanese culture here in America, you know? Anime, martial arts.
that samurai shit and all that ninja.
But like aside from that, I really can't think of. I know I'm not trying to sound dismissive to all the listeners out there. Like that, the only thing that I find interesting is American stuff. I just can't think of other cultural
Why they so fascinated
lifestyles.
with us and shit?
Yeah, there's something about how it just happens that hip hop was born in America, but maybe it's just hip hop the exceptions to the rule, man. I just really can't think of other things in other countries that we really, really like are allured by, just like how they are with hip hop when it comes to us. That's interesting, man.
I feel like hip hop is like the key to peace, literally
Universal.
worldwide. Like literally
Hell
real
yeah.
shit. People are like, "Oh, you serious?" I'm like, if you think about it, that shit unites everybody. Bro.
Yeah.
So I've literally said, I thought about it one day. I was like, yo, hip hop, that shit will cause peace in the fucking world.
In theory, because if you think about it, like hip hop was meant to bring people together, and then when you have a bunch of people together, oftentimes some whack shit ends up happening.
But that's
you know?
the beauty of hip hop. They battled it out. Like, it doesn't matter if it was rhyming or whatever. Breakdancing, your opposing crews, they battled that shit out. And you see in other countries, I was seeing a video the other day, like in Japan, straight in the gutter, dog. Some dude was breakdancing. It was so beautiful. That was so pure hip hop that it was the way it touched the world. And it started in the Bronx and shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's worldwide now. Breakdance is about to go into the fucking Olympics in 2023.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
amazing,
Yo, you know
bro.
what I'm saying?
This
Like,
is hip hop.
that's
Who would have thought
incredible.
hip hop got this far and shit, like Biggie said and shit, you know what I'm saying?
That's wild, man. I wonder if they're eventually gonna bring other elements into the Olympics too. Maybe like
Beatboxing and shit and all that shit.
or
you know?
graffiti. That'll be sick,
Yo.
man. Because there's some graffiti from around the world that
What?
blows my mind that it even exists, bro.
Yo, in Europe and shit, like Germany and all that shit, they got some talent out there and shit, though.
Yeah, it's true, man. But I feel like when it comes to hip hop, like, you know, especially MCing, like, you know, European hip hop, like grime or like Spanish hip hop, you know what I'm saying, is dope. It's dope, man. But a lot of people have a hard time enjoying like the accents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I don't fuck with that. Like, you know, British rappy, like, yo, like
It's
the
weird,
accent,
like,
yeah, I don't fuck with it.
we can't really hold it against them because that's the way they naturally
exactly,
talk.
But I don't fuck with that. Yeah,
But you know, it's like it's interesting, which is
accent
why,
and shit, yeah.
like, you know, I gotta give props to like superstars like Drake who raises awareness to what they do over there, because whether we know it or not, there's a whole huge scene outside of South Florida or like America that we might be turning a blind eye to because we're just not used to it. It's almost like it challenges us to like widen the spectrum of what we find dope. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm Hispanic, me personally, like, I have a hard time listening to and enjoying Spanish hip hop. When I hear someone rapping Spanish, it's like I know it's dope, but
Can't enjoy it like that.
yeah, I have a hard time
Except for
getting
that,
down
yo,
to it.
Like, my joint is bandolero for fucking Tego Calderón. That you put that shit, that's my shit right there. You know what I'm saying?
Out of all the artists that kind of came up during the reggaeton rush, I feel like Tego Calderón was the dopest one. His voice, his
Yeah.
flow, everything about him, I feel like was a lot better than the rest of the people that I heard. You know what I'm saying? And especially in Miami, because the majority of the people here are either like Hispanic or they're Haitian or whatever. Like our parents or like our people in our family or in our community, they'll try to encourage us to rap in Spanish as well. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather, he'll be like, "Oye, y un canción para mí," and I'll be like, "Damn, my bad, abuelo, coño. I don't know if I can do any more Spanglish." You know, it's just interesting, man. You know. But hip hop, man, I feel like hip hop around the world is like, it's one of those things, man, where it's true, it'll bring people together. But what I was saying earlier is that, you know, you'll bring people over to the party, and in theory, you'll think, yo, y'all got a problem, y'all got to battle it out.
Yeah.
But the two people that have a problem, they might not rap or DJ, or they might just be some D-boys that just cross each other's path and they didn't like each other.
Yeah, beef.
And that's the risk that we take by gathering people together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hip hop is so big, you don't have to be actively involved in hip hop to consume it. You know, like I might have some homies that are involved in some shit that has nothing to do with hip hop, but they enjoy it. And same thing with y'all. And everybody brings all their homies. There's a high risk of
Escalation for confrontation, all the types of shit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. Like, you know, you say that you bring people together. You have a knack of bringing people together.
Yeah, like for some reason, I just when I meet someone and I know they're about some ill shit, I could tell who I know they'll fuck
Work
with. You know what I'm
with,
saying? To create something
Compliment
dope.
each other. And
Yeah.
shit, yeah.
Have you ever heard the phrase "aces in their places"?
I've heard that.
Yeah, that sounds like what you do. Like, you recognize what someone's good at, and you go here because this is you'll fit. You'll flourish in this department, and you'll be over here. And you see how I have a nice working machine going on. Like, it sounds like something that, you know.
For some reason, people get along with me for some reason, man. You know what I'm saying? So
He's the nucleus and
You
shit.
know what I'm
dog.
saying? So it's like,
You know, like whenever y'all hit the road to raise awareness of y'all music, like how many people would you think you probably need to bring with you to make things run smoothly?
Just the fewer the better. Just the ones that play the position right and know what to do and shit, dog. And all the extra shit is out the door, dog. You know what I'm saying? We don't want no weak links and shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? That could fuck up the whole shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. I mean, you know, you take chances with people.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes, man, like
Take the chances on the wrong people.
facts.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true. The fewer, the better. That's.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like that's one of the reasons why I learned everything that I felt like I needed to learn, because the more that you depend on the more you have to outsource to people, the more room there is for error. You know, and
And betrayal and all types of shit.
for real, man. You know, like But I feel like going through the highs and lows kind of develops your judgment of character a little bit.
For
you
sure.
know?
I've ripped you.
I actually have something that I like to refer to as I've been for the last 2 years. I call it cutting season. Basically, just ridding ourselves of
the fat, the grease,
of
and shit, the
useless
whack.
people, basically
Yeah.
that are not amounting to anything. So you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta cut away. Doesn't mean you gotta hate everybody, and you know what I'm saying, you don't gotta be friends with people. But I've had to cut many people out to continue the progress, because unfortunately they without them wanting to, they're gonna bring you down. Whether, like, you know what I'm saying, they don't notice it themselves.
I mean, you mind like telling a story? You don't have to mention names, but of like how's that been, cutting someone off? Has it gone smoothly for you? Or
Yeah, well, the thing is
sometimes
that
they don't
I
even
guess
know they
I'm
cut
just
off.
yeah. It just
You don't be
they
like,
just
yeah,
get cut.
straight
That's
out,
it.
yeah,
It just
you know what I mean?
it's like,
Just cut them
for
out
example,
to life.
you know what I'm saying? Because like when it comes to this is very serious. So it's like, if I need you for, you tell me you're gonna be here for this, then I need you for this. And you know what I'm saying? I start peeping game on things like that to see who's to their word. I tell people that shit too. I'm like, yo, I practice the ancient technique of keeping my word, of how,
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
All day.
the
Ancient technique.
ancient
All
technique of
day.
keeping my word, because it's like, it's so rare now. And my way of growing up was like, yo, your word is what you
It's your
got.
bond
Is
and shit,
is
dog.
what you got,
Better
yo.
live up
'Cause
to it and shit.
when I say some shit, I fucking do it. I'm
Yeah,
so like,
all day.
I
yeah.
look at people, I help out people so much that it's like, when it's not reciprocated, I'm like,
Yo, it's
it's
cutting
like
season.
It's like cutting season. You know what I'm saying?
About that time too.
You know, man, like when I see someone that I kind of like, I hire for something, or maybe not even hire, let's say like they're just a homie of mine and I have something that they need, and I'll look out, you know, you extend the olive branch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had to kind of like check myself, because I would do a good amount of things for other people, but almost like subconsciously hoping that they'll help me
Look
back.
out you, and then when you
But-
need it.
Yeah, but then like, you
It
know,
won't.
time goes on, and like, that's the thing, man. You know how in the 48 Laws of Power it says despise the free meal? That's one of the laws of the 48 Laws of Power. And I get that, because if you accept a free meal from somebody, for the rest of your life, they hang that over your head, you know? And you almost feel like you got to give them a free meal to even it out, so you can relinquish yourself.
But you know what?
From that.
I think though, like friendship, like it's all about using each other, dog. And if it's all reciprocated, dog, it's like, yo, it's a beautiful relationship, dog. And we could take it to the next level all day, man. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, yo, I look out for you, you look out for me. You look out. It's like, we don't have to say that. Like, you need me, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I need him, he always there. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's also like you want to be put in a position where you want yourself and others to not have to need each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where like the day that it comes where they do need you, it's like, man, don't even worry about it. We have such a long
History and shit,
rapport.
yeah,
that
exactly.
don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's to a point that, it's not even, we just there for each other. And it's like, it's just the way we operate and shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about, I did this for you or you did it for me. It's like, we look out for each other because we're trying to achieve the same goals anyway, and might as well do it together and shit, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they say like one hand washes the other, you know? But one hand might be doing a lot more dirty work figuratively than the other. You know what I'm saying? So I find myself over the years looking back like, damn, you know, I put in the hours to learn how to do this and this and this and that. And I want to, in my imaginary world, I want to see the same way that New York has. You have all these stories of Busta Rhymes freestyling with ODB, and all these crazy stories of everyone that's a legend today, way back in the day, hanging out together. In my imaginary world, I want to see that for South Florida. But, you know, I also encourage people to be like, yo, look, man, I learned how to do this. Go watch this tutorial and learn for yourself as well. And then time goes by and you realize that other people have different, I don't want to say priorities or really capabilities, but just because you know that videography is important, they might not want to learn how to do videography, but they need videos. And then they reach out to you because you didn't limit yourself to learning how to do all these things. It's just interesting, man, because I want to see people come up, but I want them to come up on their own merit, not because of my or anyone else's generosity. You know, it's tough, man. It's a tough lesson to learn in any field, really. You know, you want to be able to show people. You want to teach people how to fish.
What you bring to the table and
You
shit.
know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it feels great. Like, yo, it feels so good when I hire someone to help me out, and it's my own homie or home girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it in. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, it feels great being able to give someone, make income with you at the same time,
and make some beautiful art
and make something at the
end
same
and
time.
shit,
It's
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
it feels dope. You know, I rather help out my homie, make him come up,
Than some random
than just some
stranger.
random person, you know. But like you said, they gotta wanna put in their effort too, and wanna learn and teach themselves and put in.
Not everybody got that
You know what I'm
drive
saying?
though.
Because that's what happened with me. Like so in my early years, like I said, I only knew how to rap, right? And then I got homies that produce, and this one homie knows how to engineer, or at least mix. You think that it's mixing good, but it's not. It's just they know how to do it more than you.
Good
So
enough and shit, yeah.
so
You
in your
think,
mind,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is the man, you know? Same thing with videography or graphic design. And you know, once you learn how to do it yourself, you look back at the people that you reached out to, and it's like humbling almost, like, damn, this dude wasn't really that tight, but he was willing to do it. And that says more to me than someone that's a professional that it's a mission to work with. You know, I'd rather have homies that aren't that experienced, but they're just willing to involve themselves. You know what I'm saying?
No, all day.
And then over time, everyone gets better.
Exactly.
Like before, whether you like it or not, 10,000 hours are going to go by, and you're eventually going to master whatever the fuck it is that you do. You know?
It's like the evolution, dog. You should see our first videos to where we at right now. Shit's gotten a lot better, you know what I'm saying? We're not where we wanted to be and shit, but yo, we coming out with some dope ass shit, you know what I'm saying?
What are your thoughts on like people using very old filters nowadays, like 8mm, old video camera looking videos in 2019, just to kind of give that aesthetic, that like vibe of.
If it looks dope, it looks
Yeah,
dope.
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
If it,
I feel like
Can't overplay it too and shit.
it's true, man.
Yeah.
Like some
Little
people,
touch.
sprinkle it here and there.
Yeah.
you know, like that whole if it looks dope, it's dope. It's true, but I feel like I want people to. I wish I could understand more. What's the best vibe to go for some visuals, man? Like I invested in like every type of video camera, and sometimes it's like too much. It's like, damn, dog.
And the simple shit is like the best shit. Yeah.
Like you got the guy with one pair of shoes, and whether you like it or not, that's what he wears. Then you got the guy with a sneaker collection, and he's like, fuck, man.
I don't even know what to wear.
Yeah, I'm not sure which vibe I want to go with today, you know? Like minimal people. When I had less gear, I did more. And now that I have more gear, I find myself overthinking what's the
What it
best.
is, like when you have too many options, though, you get indecisive, though. You know what I'm saying? And when you like limited, you like, though, this is what I got to work with. Bam. You know what I'm saying?
There's this one restaurant that their menu is just like 3 things. And they make so much money because it gives the customer less options to sit there and rack their
Take
brains
forever
around.
and shit, though, yeah.
You know? And then when I worked at Flanagan's, the menu is a fucking binder.
Yeah.
You know, and you take forever flapping through it, and you get exhausted just reading the menu. Man, I don't even want to eat here no more, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes less is more, bro. You know?
Exactly.
Even with like making music, like you got the guys that you have the main layer, maybe one layer of adlibs, and like that's it, call it a day. Then you got the other guys that
Just overdo it and shit.
the 30 layers of everything. Do you remember how the old 50 Cent adlibs were when he says, so seductive? There's a lot of 50 Cents in there, bro. You know? It's like mad layers, just like over and over and over, just like layering things. Like, it's funny, man. Like, now we're in an age where, like, less is more. You'll hear one layer. Pusha T, I don't think I've ever heard Pusha T ad-lib his vocals, ever. It's just one layer, and that's it.
That's it right there.
You know? It's interesting, man, how things change, bro.
That's funny you say that because at first, I used to have all these ad-libs and shit. And now that I'm doing I'm going back to a lot of old shit, I find myself taking out mad ad-libs and shit, you know what I'm saying? That's unnecessary. Yeah. And it makes it sound dope when you just have the lead and you're like, okay, that's all I need, you know what I'm saying?
It's almost like if the lead is not good enough by itself, that's not a good foundation to layer on top. You know? I remember I used to download like Bone Thugs and Harmony acapellas back when LimeWire was, you know, you'll type in Bone Thugs and Harmony and everything pops up, including you want to get everything, instrumentals, ad-libs,
All that
remixes.
shit, yeah.
And when I would listen to the acapella, I'll be like, damn, there's a lot going on here, you know? And I would imagine how somehow they do it because these guys are masters at it. But like, damn, if Busy Bone was rapping by himself, how would he, you know, like I've never seen him live. Actually, I have seen him live once, but you know, the crowd sings along. So it's almost like you can take the mic away from your mouth and they sing it for you because you're performing in front of a sea of people that love you. But like, it's interesting to be like, damn, bro, like there's a lot going on here. If in the event that you had to perform by yourself, would you be able to accomplish that? You know, it's just interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my favorite groups, Outkast, they used to do this exercise where they would jog around the neighborhood, and while they're running, they're like, you heard about that? Like,
I haven't heard about it, but I just thought about it.
But it sounds like some breath control, like technique shit.
Yeah, breath control
Yeah.
shit. That's crazy. Have you ever tried doing that, like jogging while rapping?
Nah, I never thought about that shit.
Yo, it's like impossible. Well, not
I'm
impossible.
gonna try now
but
though.
you go jogging and like, you know how you pace yourself out while you breathe in and breathe out, but like the amount of breath control that you need to have to.
Diaphragm and shit.
For real, bro. It's just interesting. Like, it makes me wonder how people that perform at festivals, like, I might be underappreciating their breath control, bro. You know,
Holding it down live.
When you listen back at old like Big Pun tracks, did you ever notice how deep his breaths were?
And yo, he used to take like monster gulps and shit. Dog. Like yo, you hear that shit like noticeably.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like, whereas now everyone is just mad punching, you know? And I don't know, if I had to pick one between the two, it's funny, like, even though I appreciate more the one take Jake style like of recording, you know, there's something about just punching in and fixing what you're doing, because I remember I used to be mad hard-headed, bro. Like, and eating away at the clock too. You feel me? Like, you'll tell the engineer, no, I can do it better. 20, 30, 40 minutes go by and you just can't lay it down perfectly. And
You run out of breath and shit. You lose your voice and shit.
Yeah, and the more that you try, the more tired you are. And it's just this downward spiral, you know? And the engineer is like, yo, bro, just fix this one bar. That's all I need. Everything else is fine.
Yeah.
You know? It's interesting, man.
Yeah.
How long does it take for y'all to record a song nowadays?
I do it pretty quick, man, because I have a method. You memorize the fuck out of the track or whatever, and practice the fuck out. So I come in and just lay it down.
Yeah,
so it really doesn't take that long to get tracks laced and get the main bones of it down. You know what I mean? The main foundation, get everything ready just to get the stems, and then to take it to the mixing and mastering engineer. You know what I mean? So it's pretty quick. The process.
It depends though too. Like for example, like last time I was in a session and spitting, I was at Money Mo's and shit, dog. And in 2 hours I did like at least 5 songs, easily.
And you engineer yourself, or he?
No. I got my own people and shit to do that, like professionals who do that shit. Tony, shout out Tony.
Mowgli's studio is like super clean, bro. Like the quality of the vocals that come out there, is something about that room he records in, bro. Like, when I go over to his crib, it's like, this is your setup. It's just like,
it's so simple, but it's effective.
But
bro.
it works,
yeah,
you know?
Exactly, yeah.
It's interesting how that is, man, because some people, they'll only get like the most expensive mic and the most expensive preamp and all the crazy bells and whistles, and the product isn't really as, I don't know, it's weird. Like, it's almost overtly done. You feel me? Sometimes like the steak comes out better in your little backyard barbecue than some 5-star.
It's the man behind the tools, dog. It's not the tools itself. You know what I'm saying?
What would you say that like your music stands for?
My music stands for graffiti writing, b-boy, b-girling,
hip-hop,
MCing, DJ motherfuckers.
destroying wet motherfuckers.
For real. That's pretty much
All them parasites, dog.
It's literally audio graffiti is what I tell people. That music is audio graffiti.
Parables, dog. We spitting psalms, dog.
B-boyism through sound. Audio b-boyism. Yeah.
So it's like hip hop in its purest form.
In the purest form, you just said it.
All day.
Interesting. Like, do you guys have like any like guilty pleasures of like someone that you listen to that you know is not what you stand for, but you just can't help but like what the shit they do?
What, like Sade and shit?
Nah,
That's
Sade,
dope, though.
nah,
That's dope. That's dope.
Sade is amazing, bro. Like for
dope, though.
like for example, like
Smooth operator.
like okay, for example, like one of my favorite rappers is LP. You know who
Oh yeah,
LP,
from Run
right?
the Jewels. From,
Yeah,
from,
LP.
From Crusher Plus. And
So LP is known for the most dense lyrical New York. He's from Brooklyn, like boom bap.
backpack shit.
Like it sounds like he like ripped out the internal workings of a robot and somehow incorporated that in his MIDI machine. Like he's the most industrial rapper ever. And he's like, man, you know, I can't help but enjoy what Lil Pump does. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn.
Fuck Lil Pump. Nah.
It's like interesting how someone that could be on one side of the spectrum
Yeah.
can't help but enjoy
Some other shit.
something that contrasts what they do.
Yeah.
You know? It's tough, right? When you really think about it, like, damn, what the fuck do I like that I'm not probably even supposed to be
Man,
like?
straight up, I don't be listening to the fucking radio or this new shit, dog. Like pop shit. Like I don't really listen to none of that bullshit, dog. So I can't even tell you somebody, you know what I'm saying? I be listening to my own shit or our shit so much, dog. You know what I'm saying? Oh, some hip hop shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like I used to be like that too, where you would only have. I was like, oh, what do you listen to? Shit, what I'm working on right now.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I only listen to what I'm about to drop,
Yeah.
just to make sure
Try
it
to get this shit
sounds
perfect. This shit, yeah.
Like I listen to all genres of music. You feel me? Like I like music, everything
in general. And
in
shit.
general.
Ever since I started getting into making my own beats and like sampling, you're forced to sit through because you're looking for samples.
Yeah.
And you're forced to sit through
Old school shit.
just the
Okay.
most obscure shit. You
Yeah.
probably don't even know who are these
But
people.
you be finding
you
some
know,
real shit though.
like you know what's a genre of music that I was like, damn dog, I might just make a playlist of only this for road trips, like Japanese jazz. Bro, that shit is it is incredible. And it's like, damn, dog, this is like again back to Japanese culture. Like something about Japanese culture resonates with America. I don't know, it's something about
Yeah.
Japanese culture, you know, but yeah, bro, like those guilty pleasures, bro. Like I remember I had a hard time enjoying like the Gucci Manes, the trap rappers and shit. I had a hard time enjoying it, but one day this producer I was rocking with, I get into his whip, and that's what he bumps. Even though he makes boom bap shit, he was like, "Nah, I'm on Gucci Mane like music right now," and I'm listening to him, and I'm like, "Damn, dog, maybe I've been a little too judgmental," you know? Like in my mind,
yeah.
closed-minded. Maybe in my mind, it's only Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, Rakim, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm exaggerating, but
But I get your point. Yeah.
then you're like, yo, hold on. Outkast came from Atlanta, and so is Gucci Mane. And you listen to what Gucci Mane is saying, or like Young Jeezy, and you're like, damn, not for nothing. They don't prioritize wordplay, but what they're saying is like,
Some real shit.
yeah, it's interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but how many like they come out with like one song that they might, I don't know, like 10 songs sound the same too. Shit, 10 songs might sound the same exact as that one song.
I think one day, I would imagine one day Gucci Mane made the decision of being like, I'm not going to be over lyrical when I approach a verse. And it'll enable him to come out with 100 verses by the time Eminem beautifully constructs one verse, you know? And it's like, I wonder. It's like he probably made that decision one day. Like, I know I'm capable of coming out with some super lyrical shit, but I can't ride down the street with my bitch listening to this, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, fuck, I'm just gonna.
Just go with this.
Yeah, you know?
But they be saying some ill shit sometimes though, like shit like that. I be hearing some ill shit, way different than the mumble shit of now. You know what I'm saying?
Like, who's in your, off the top of your head, who's in your top 5? Both of y'all.
Of MCs,
Dirty dope, dirty dope, dirty dope.
like
Dirty
no,
dope and Filth.
like no, man. There's so many ill MCs, yo.
You know, it's tough, man. I had to like sit down one day and be like, fuck, who's in my fucking top 5? It's tough, man. There's a lot of
Like
fucking.
a top 5. I don't like. I can name 5 I like, but like a top 5. There's so many ill MCs.
You know who's in my top 5, man? I had to sit down one day. Mind you, I know I'm catching y'all off guard. I should have probably told you on your way over here, think of your top 5. But like, bro, Eminem, right? Jay-Z. You know who else I put in there too? Lil Wayne. I feel like Lil Wayne is super underappreciated for how dope of an MC he is. You know? Kanye West for just his overall music. But it's funny, Kanye West is like a guilty pleasure too because he openly has people write for him, even though he's capable of writing his own shit. He's like, nah, like this verse was written by that guy, this verse was written by this guy over here. You know what I mean? And have y'all ever bumped some Aesop Rock? You know who Aesop Rock is?
Yeah. Daylight.
Yeah, exactly.
Daylight EP.
Have you ever heard
I
Aesop
heard of him,
Rock?
but I never got into that shit. Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where like if you listen to Aesop Rock, you kind of feel like you nosedive into a dictionary. You know, you just take acid and read the dictionary for 10 hours. That's what Aesop Rock is like.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like those guys that I mentioned are in their own category, in my opinion, as like the best at what they do. You know, so that's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I'm to the point where, man, I grew up with a lot of rappers, but now it's all about me, and I feel like I could destroy any of them rappers I grew up idolizing. You know what I'm saying? All them fucking Nas and all that. I know I could, like, when I say top 5, I put me all day. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel and shit, you know what I'm saying?
So like right now, you're just kind of on some like you're like so confident in what you do that you don't have no room to acknowledge people that you feel like deserve to be in that space with you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
And what about you, bro?
I'm trying to think of, yes, like I said, there's so many illest MCs that have come through, but just 5 that I can think of that really, I think are dope. I'm gonna go with, let's see. I'm just gonna, I have so many, but I'm just gonna pick any 5 right now that I think are dope. I'm gonna go with Scarface. Let's go with,
Never seen a man die.
yeah, Rakim,
No, the ledge.
Lord Infamous.
666.
Yeah.
Lord Infamous is, I feel like he's super underrated, bro.
Yeah.
Lord Infamous is somebody I think is dope, bro. Let me see. Is it Scarface, Lord Infamous?
You said Rakim
I
too.
said Rakim. 2 more. Yo, let me see. Man,
It's tough, man. Like
It's tough.
naming the first 2 or 3,
that come.
but once you get down to the 4th and 5th one, you're like, damn, dog, who the fuck else do I want to mention? And no matter what, you're always gonna be criticized for who you didn't mention.
Yeah,
you know.
His name is people that come to my mind. I'm like, I think are ill.
Well, like that's the thing about hip hop, man. Like we're in a place right now, especially as time passes by, that there are so many elite artists that you're almost like doing an injustice to everyone else by mentioning whoever it is that you mention, you know? And like I know what you feel too, man, like dirty dope, because sometimes when I'm writing my songs, I sit back and look at what I do and I'm like, nobody can do this. You know, nobody. It was meant to be that this verse came from me. You know, this song came out of me. And that like that revalidation of like what we're capable of has got to be like, man, I know that what I'm feeling right now, Rakim had to have felt when he wrote what he wrote. You know, it's almost like you're tapping into that frequency of like that like fulfillment of, damn, I'm born to do this. You know what I'm saying? And also feeling that way, like, damn, dog, like nobody could have done what I'm doing right now. It's almost like you're setting yourself up to be like a little disappointed that you're not where you want to be at yet. It could be frustrating at times to be like, fuck, man. Like, what am I not doing to arrive? Why is the end of the tunnel not where I'm at yet?
I don't think about it from that perspective, though. I think it more like, yo, what is, it is, you know what I'm saying? And God has a plan for everybody. And, you know, I'll be happy with just representing and doing with this. I don't have to fucking blow up. And, you know, of course, I want to make all the money in the world and shit, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm doing nice for myself. And as long as I can do my art with my niggas and shit, dog, like, I'm good and shit, dog. And if we could put it out there, you know, on our platforms or whatever and help each other, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying?
There's a bunch of artists that don't even have a 50,000 fan following on like social media that are making, they're living very well. You know, they're living very, very well. They tour a lot because that's the way most artists make money nowadays off their music. They tour and they have a lot of merch and shit, you know. But yo, you don't have to be famous to be That's what I feel like success is. Like success is not Grammys. I feel like success
To be able to live comfortable. Yo, I heard some shit like, yo, if you have 1,000 fans, diehard fans that put down money every time you do drop some shit or you tour, you be living good. You know what I'm saying? You don't need fucking a million fucking motherfuckers buying your shit. You know what I'm saying? If you have those 1,000 people, and if your music is dope, those 1,000 is gonna come regardless. You know what I'm saying? In due time and shit. You know what I mean?
Facts, man. And also when you break it down to like, let's say you set like a job, you know, like a quota, you know, like damn, this month I gotta reach my quota of reaching new people that really, really rock with me, you know? I feel like that it makes it seem so much more doable that way. You know, if I give myself 10 fans, however, people create little grids and shit, but once you give yourself a quota and you realize like,
Get
damn,
a fan a day. It's just a new listener and shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, before you know it, and that fan, you know, tells their friends about it, and then that might make one of their friends be, you know what I'm saying?
That's the hardest part, dog. Because you can have the dopest shit, the dopest art, but if you don't have a following, dog, like who the fuck is gonna know about that shit? You know what I'm saying?
And also psychologically, people want to be a part of the winning team, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you could be the dopest artist, but
If nobody supports you, they ain't gonna support.
Yeah, it's like
until they see the fucking people supporting and then jump on the bandwagon. And
yeah,
shit,
exactly. Like if you walk into like a clothing store, or I don't know if clothing is a good example, like a restaurant or something, right? And you see that no one's there,
nobody's gonna go in.
you're gonna be like, damn, why is no one else eating here? Yeah. Like I don't know if I want to spend money here. And that's the tricky part, you know. That's why some companies they'll like create hype.
And
They'll
buy
pay
followers and all that shit.
They'll pay people
Promotion.
to be there so that it makes it seem like that place is popping.
Yeah.
You know, which to me is like fucked up. But bro, you know, sometimes
the game and shit.
Yeah, you're playing the game, and it's a fucked up game for real.
Yeah.
You know, I used to like maybe 5, 6, I don't know, more than 5 years ago. I paid for some followers on Instagram, and
all
like
fake followers and shit.
you look at their
robots
Abby,
and shit.
yeah, it's weird.
Like that is a waste of money because you thought they were real people and shit, and they're not and shit.
And what's funny is that no one's willing to admit it, but like it's true, bro. Mad people tried that out. You know, they'll like DM the person that says, "Yo, I got the blue verified badge. Holler at me if you want it." You know, and you hit them up and you'll pay them the money and you'll get the blue badge for like a week.
You know what it is? Everyone wants the easy way
I got my
out.
other two.
Yeah.
Guru
Rest in peace.
and Too Poetic from the Gravediggers.
Hey, that's a dope top 5, man. Word. You said Scarface, Rakim, Lord Infamous, Guru, and Too Poetic. Interesting, bro. I don't think I've ever heard a top 5 like that. You know, that's good, man. You know, I feel like someone that should be in more top 5s, bro. MF Doom is one of those guys that it's like everyone's favorite rapper that no one wants to mention is their favorite rapper, you know? Or like one of their favorites, you know?
The ill style is like, yo, you coming now, you big ass rapper, you hide behind the mask, they don't know who you are. That was the illest shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? That was my plan from the get, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, like, you know, one day he's just gonna like come out with 10 masks and go on tour, but he never leaves his house.
Shout out to the gold mask.
You know, no emotion.
no
Shout out to the
emotion.
gold mask.
No emotion. That's the homie, man.
Who
All right.
am I?
That's the home. That's the homie.
Well, look, man, before we get out of here, man, tell the listeners where they can find you and what you guys got going on that they can, you know, like be on the lookout for, so that way that when you come out with it, they know what's up.
Dirty Dough Records at Dirty Dough Records. Go follow me right now. Also follow MIAO Radio, where we showcasing Miami's rawest talent all day, dog, and all types of entertainment and shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, dog, Shaman's Debauchery.
Word up. This is the Angelus, yo, the shaman of debauchery. You can follow me at the Filth 83 on Instagram. And yeah, like Dirty Doe said, that Shamans of Debauchery EP about to drop soon, yo.
We're gonna hit you in the head with that shit, dog.
Everybody follow MIAO, man. MIAO Radio.
All
you
day.
You know what I'm saying? That's you?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I didn't know, man.
You know
Like,
what I'm saying? Yeah.
you be like supporting the shit I do. I didn't even know that was you. Well, thanks.
No, for sure. I got you, dog.
That's
I got
funny,
everybody,
bro.
dog.
Damn, that's interesting, man. All right, man. So, you know, we got the Filth. We got Dirty Doe. You know, and the man behind the camera. What's your name, bro?
Adam.
My man, Adam. You know what I'm saying? This is episode, I think, 43 of the Noche podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Art Morera, guys. I appreciate that. Spotify, SoundCloud, all that, you know. And Miami, stand up, man. Get a medianoche, bro, at Latin America or at Mary's Coin Laundry, which is the spot. All right, y'all. Peace.
Blah, blah, breh. M-I-A-yo.
Medianoche.
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 Medianoche. Medianoche.
Medianoche.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.